Great to have you listening here on a Tuesday. We mentioned this yesterday, Biggie. You weren't here in the last hour. I'm starting to lose my voice.
I can tell. What's that about? It happened a few months ago as well.
What was the cause a few months ago, do you recall?
I did have a cold.
Did you?
It was January.
Okay.
Now I feel it's...
Allergies?
Yeah, pollen related.
Can we work backwards and connect the dots? It's not just a week's worth of Serenity Lane uninterrupted.
It could be that.
Your body's like, oh no, I was so happy. Now I'm not.
I was so happy. We were off work for a week. I had something.
You fell off of every bandwagon you were ever on.
I drank 36 Diet Cokes. All right, full disclosure. 36 Diet Cokes in 6 days. That's what I had.
You do the math.
Okay. and I popped a few Serenity Lanes, which is a little
gas station weed
supplement. I call it a supplement that I'm using. And so yesterday,
not approved by the FDA.
and as soon as we got back, I thought, something's going on here. And yesterday, as the program kept going on and on, and Biggie had told us I'm missing the last hour, so we did a line change. We had a BB Shea line change.
Biggie out.
Biggie out, BB Shea in. And I made it clear I'm going to lose my voice here. And Chris Demm said my mother would say gargle with warm salt water, which is exactly what I've done twice.
Good.
Okay.
I think that's helped.
Helps a little.
I think it helps.
Are you drinking hot tea?
I haven't yet. I just didn't have time. There was too much on the table. There was too much happening.
For this?
Yes.
This thing?
Well, and I was just... removing a staple from the stack, and when I used the staple remover, it pinched my button-pushing finger.
Yeah.
Are you injured?
Yes.
Oh, I see blood.
Yes.
Yeah.
My button.
It's a blood blister.
That's a blood blister.
Are you going to leave blood on the board?
No, it's a blister.
There's a name for your book.
Blood blister. Blood on the board.
Blood on the board. I left it all.
That's right.
There's your memoir title.
I left it all. There's blood on the board.
Well, now, I hate to say it, but since that is the only part of your body that moves in this room,
that's right.
It's workman's comp.
That's
have to take a trip to HR.
Yeah.
That's workman's comp. I might have to go see Barry up in HR. That's right.
Barry, look at this.
That's right. I'm just going to hold
I'm wounded.
I'm just going to hold up my finger. You see that blood blister? That's a terrible injury.
What am I to do?
Exactly.
You tell me how I can work with this. Hold it up to the camera so that everyone can see.
My God, this show is going. It's going to be completely off. That's my button pushing. I can't.
Each time, have you practiced pressing anything?
I haven't even.
Can you practice?
God. That's just a microphone button. There's nothing I can do. I've had to be very, very deliberate with my stacking of papers. This has been very difficult for me. And what you missed yesterday, Biggie, since you were out the last hour. I don't know if you're aware they're doing this. I think I told you. They got me again with one of those Big Lebowski references. They do that.
I as I was driving to the doctor, I actually was listening to the program.
Unprecedented.
I know. I think I just forgot to hit the change button when I got in.
Right.
And I heard
that's not Thin Lizzy.
Do you believe that?
I heard that happen, and I was like, yeah, they got him again with it.
It's over the line. They do that all the time. I've not seen the movie The Big Lebowski, even though I have stated numerous times I would.
4 years, 5 years running?
I really should see it. I've really got to see it. But too many things get in the way. My dearest friend in here keeps recommending great shows to me, and I keep watching those shows. But anyway, we were talking about something, and Chris Demm said, I don't know, rug ties the room together or something like that.
Not even close.
I don't remember
Wasn't even close.
Well, I don't know it. I don't know it. But
you don't even know it when it's happening.
No, and then they always cut their eyes at each other and giggle and give a thumbs up and say, oh, there, they got me right there.
Gotcha. Lebowski.
Yeah.
So I have to
There's
say,
always a distinct pause, too, because I hear you go,
yeah,
that was a Big Lebowski reference, wasn't it? So now you're even knowing the reference.
That's right. But who knows? Will they... now I think they're going to start throwing in ones that are not Big Lebowski references that I'll have
to
see. We'll just wait and see on that. The way I discovered it is one day after the show, when you were off on
one of your leaves.
There's been so many.
I know.
More hospitalizations.
Right. You were in the hospital. And, BB Shea came out of that room and said, man, when you said such and such, that was killer. I was like, what are you talking about? And BB Shea says, that's Big Lebowski. I was like, oh, do you all do that? And he's like, oh, yeah, we do
all the
that
time. All around you. You have no idea.
I'm going to start doing it with shows that only Biggie and I watch. Like the Pit. I just finished the Pit.
Oh, it's gonna be 2 C's, 10 cc's of saline.
That's CBC Kim 7. Oh, started by Pap.
That's a Pit reference. You wouldn't get it.
Ooh, burn, suck it. You're being pitted.
You just got pitted. Great show. Great show. Remember, one of our meet and greet contestants.
One of the coolest phone calls we've ever had.
It was incredible. It was last Friday. The brother of the person we talked to on the phone for meet and greet at the ass end of the power hour.
He called from his truck. Right, he's a trucker.
His brother is on the show The Pit, and not only is he on the show, he's like the second biggest name on there.
Yeah.
It's the second biggest star.
He plays Dr. Langdon.
Oh, yeah. Believe you me, the last few episodes I paid real attention to Dr. Langdon. I was like, I know that guy's brother.
I saw, of course, there's going to be...
How many people have you told? Everybody on the pickle
Everybody
court?
I know. I'm like, by the way, do y'all watch? I say...
I know the guy in the pit. Yeah. I'm pretty much best friends with Noah Wiley.
That's right. You know what I say?
By 6 degrees of the Kevin Bacon.
I always say, do y'all watch The Pit? No. Oh, well, if you did watch The Pit, this is... I know.
Well, I know one of the guys on there, sort of.
First off, you should. This is great. But...
It is great. It is great, yes. You know, the one I'm watching now that Biggie recommended to me is that new John Hamm show. I like that.
I love it, too. I think it's going to be really good.
It's called Your Friends and Neighbors.
Is this where he robs from his rich friends and neighbors?
He's rich. They're incredibly wealthy, but he loses his job, and he's going through a divorce. And they're in this incredibly wealthy subdivision, it looks like, of New York, you know, so like in Connecticut or somewhere. And yes, he has to make money to keep his lifestyle up, to keep up appearances. And one day he's at a party and he's just wandering through the master bedroom of the guy, you know, and he's like, I'll take this $200,000 watch, you know.
Yeah, he's never going to notice.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, do you think that was our debate on this? Like, these folks are so wealthy, you know, they
don't even lock their doors.
No, they don't even lock their doors.
He kind of says that as he goes through the houses and stuff and breaking in. He's like, you know, you get so secure because you have guards at the gate and no one can get in, that you have an alarm system, you don't set it, and you don't even bother checking when your doors are locked.
That's right. And this is how wealthy they are. They're sitting by the pool, and one guy's doing like a charity dinner for something, and he says, "Can I put you down for your usual 2 tables, $30,000 a table?" And he's like, "I don't know, maybe, you know." So and that's how rich they are. And so the question was, if you have 10 watches all worth $150,000 to $200,000 sitting in a drawer in your closet, do you even miss one? He just took it, you know. He just grabbed it, and he said they'll never even miss this, you know.
And like rolls of money, they just had rolls of money in a drawer,
and he
just took a couple.
Just a band, as they say.
Yes, exactly.
I'll never be that rich, so I don't think I could even. But I bet you do get to that point where you're just so you have so much stuff.
Oprah Winfrey said once that she found $900 in her pocket and just gave it to Gayle King. She was doing laundry. Gayle and Oprah were doing laundry one time, and Oprah got her jeans out and said, "Oh my God, there's $900 in the pocket. You want it?"
Kind of an insult to Gayle, frankly. I mean, she makes a living.
Well, she
wasn't at the time. I believe she was still just.
She's always been under the wing of the big
She made a living.
But I think at that point she was just Oprah's friend still, kind of.
She did do shows.
But she did have and Gayle King did have the title of publisher of the or editor in chief.
Oh, that's right.
The Big magazine.
And they're best friends, of course. And Oprah found $900 and some in her front pocket of her jeans. Oh God,
you want this?
I want this $900.
And that's what we do with hats we don't want.
Unbelievable.
Give it to BB Shea.
That's what happened yesterday.
BB Shea gets a lot of stuff.
Hand-me-downs.
You know, it's interesting about you and BB Shea. Megacorp, our new favorite company. We don't know what they do.
They're big.
They're big. They're mega. They're Megacorp.
Not just big. Mega.
And they sent us some hats and can huggers, which was really, really nice, and along with a very nice note. And Chris Demm said to Biggie, "Would you like this hat?" He's like, "It's too small to fit my big head. Give it to BB Shea." 3 hours later, Biggie leaves. Chris Demm says, "Biggie's giving you this hat." BB Shea says, "I'm sure it's too small to fit my big head." So it's like, who'll take the hat? You know, he's got a perfectly round head.
Yeah.
Here's another. This comes from that show that Biggie and I watch, Your Friends and Neighbors. His name, John Hamm's character's name, is Andrew Cooper. Everybody calls him Coop. And I'm convinced. We just hired a guy here whose last name is Cooper. I haven't even met him yet. We hired him like 3 days ago. And I'm convinced that if you have the first name Cooper or the last name Cooper, you're just going to be Coop. I feel like that is going to be a thing.
It's an easy one. It's an easy one to nick.
Yeah. It is your Nick. If you're named Cooper in any way, you're going to be Coop.
Now, there's a good chance you will meet this new person today in your big meeting. Now, this is the meeting where you normally two-hump grumpet. You shoot down every idea and basically show your true colors.
Correct.
You grouse when everyone around you is happy.
Yes. Right. Now, will you put on a fake side of you today because somebody new is in there and say, "Hey, Chris Kelly, what's up? Can I call you Coop?"
A facade, if you will.
Debating.
Yes.
Do I go facade or Big Freeze?
Sometimes make him come to you.
Yeah. Sometimes I do that with you, though.
Coming forward and kiss the ring, as they say.
Recently, I was going to go Big Freeze. I forget on who it was. Somebody new I had met, maybe on the pickleball court or whatever. And I was like, I'm Big Freezing this guy, 100%. But he came up to me and he goes, I just want you to know, I'm a big fan of your show. I listen all the time. So then I was like, oh my God.
Thank you.
No, you don't. Thank you. Really? I was unable to Big Freeze him. I couldn't. I saw an article in the Wall Street Journal that said nicknames are going away, that they're dying, that people, like young people, don't use nicknames with each other anymore.
I could see that.
In fact,
what age group?
Younger. And he was saying
they're fun.
He was saying that like anybody now that is born as William doesn't go by Billy. It's always William.
They don't shorten the proper name.
That's not being done anymore. Exactly. That the young people.
Okay.
James is always James. He's never going to be Jim or Jimmy. You know, according to this guy it's just something he's noticed. He says.
You know, my nephew is roughly your son's age, Kelly. And, you know, he went to school with a bunch of guys who had long, proper names. And the parents call them that. But once the kids get to high school and college, then their names evolve.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
But he says, and he also says that, like, if you've got somebody that's really heavy, we don't call them tiny anymore. Because of you don't want.
It's reverse fat shaming.
It's reverse fat shaming. You don't want to reverse it. And
it's a size word.
It's a size word, and we don't use size words.
That means if I was hired today, you just have to call me Josh.
That's right.
Which would not be as fun.
Why would we call you Josh? Is that your name?
That's just a nick for Joshua.
A lot of people say, "How's Josh?" I was like, I don't know any Josh.
Josh.
Yeah.
Josh.
That's not as fun. Of course, it's not as fun. Here's the other one. If you have red hair, you're no longer called red because this again we don't comment.
Shaming.
It's shaming. You know,
what do we call young Rachel every time she comes in?
Red Rachel. I did that. I'm the one that did that.
Well, you're old school thinking. You're still old school radio.
Exactly. And I called her Red Rachel as soon as she walked
you
through the
look
door.
at them. You have to give them a descriptive name.
Yeah. She loves Big Macs, by the way. It's her favorite.
What?
Little something on Red Rachel.
Let me mark that down for HR.
Since you're heading up anyway.
Yeah, for the first weird moment of the day.
Here's a nickname story for you. This is kind of fun. You know, when we would go through, probably in high school, it started. You know, the teacher would take roll on the first day of class.
Right.
And they would say, you know, like my name was Christopher, so it was always Christopher in the roll books, but nobody called me that.
Of course.
My parents mom always did. But no one calls you that.
Right.
Because it's just too cumbersome. Chris is easier.
Of course.
And so they would say, what name would you like me to call you? And so I would always say, you can just call me Chris.
Right.
Well, in college, one of the guys I went to school with, I think he majored in the same thing that I did. His name was like George or Irving or Ira or something like that. But on the first day of class, and we had like 2-3 different classes together, he would always say, call me Zonk.
Oh, really? Zonk. Oh, yeah.
Zonk.
Okay.
One of those.
It's like, come on,
Dude. Out of
You
nowhere.
ain't no Zonk.
I'm Zonk.
You can't call yourself Zonk.
But he had that kind of nickname. Somebody had given him that name, Zonk.
I don't know if it was self-given or if it was imposed upon him, as many nicknames are.
Yeah, I wonder. Who knows? But you're saying you've got to go by
I found
Ira.
it really annoying.
Yeah.
That he did it every single.
Yeah. Call me Zonk.
There was a guy.
Excuse me, Zonk. Do you have an answer?
Yeah. This guy he was my RA, my sophomore year of college. And that the first get together, like a mixer, he was in charge, you know. And he said, well, my name is such and such, but everybody calls me Canute. And he goes, just interesting story, you know, I'll tell you sometime, too long for another day, but everybody calls me Canute. So we all, of course, his name was Canute, and he went by Canute. So, you know, 3 months later, we're at some other mixer, and my roommate and I are standing next to him, and I said, "Hey, what's the story on why you're called Canute?" And he goes, "I don't know. Everybody just called me that." That was it. He didn't
Drink.
he didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
He goes, "I don't know.
Good story, bro.
I thought he's going to have some kind of great story. He didn't have one at all.
Everybody calls me Canute. It's a long story.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally what he said. 3 months later, I guess he couldn't. He just didn't have it at all. He's like, I don't know. He just hung it on me one day.
Yeah.
And that was it. You know.
He probably just gave himself that name.
Probably. And it was very odd.
I think I told you all this. I tried to make my initials into my name for a time when I was like in middle school. I tried to be JR, and that just didn't work.
Ooh.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
What's your last name?
I'm going to tell you my last name or my middle name. You're not guessing my passwords.
You know.
When did you become Biggie? Do you remember the moment? Was it a moment, or did it evolve?
It kind of evolved. Well, I mean, always, because my last name starts with an E. People would always be like, people would always be like, Biggie.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then when I started dabbling in radio,
I see. Then
it was like, we're
Biggie.
going to, you need a nickname because, of course, that's what we do.
Classic story here. We had a guy named JT. Now, Chris Demm will know this. And he had,
Mm-hmm.
we decided, now JT had worked here a year. And we had the budget, so everybody got a name tag one year. And we were like, okay, name tags.
Brass plate
That we'd put on whenever we went out. Just, you know, if anybody was going to be, if the mayor was going to be there to ribbon
Put
cut,
on your name tag.
There's your name tag. Would say Chris Kelly or whatever. And it was golden with black writing. And so his name was JT Austin, and it said.
There were, what, 50, 60 people in the building at that time?
Exactly. So everybody, like salespeople, everybody got a name tag. And so his said JT Austin, J.T. Austin. And the guy who had ordered him, I saw him give JT his name tag, and JT said, misspelled my name. That's not my name.
Which part?
And so the guy that ordered him said, oh, my God. So he looks at Austin, and said, it looks right. He goes, no, that's right.
S-T.
He said, sorry, there's a misspelling there. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, no periods in my name. It's JT, no periods.
Wow.
And the guy goes, well, we're not going to reorder for that. There's an extra charge for that. And he's like, I won't wear it if it has periods in the name. And there was a standoff right there in
I was
front
going to say.
And they went back and forth. He goes, you will wear this to every station function, period. So JT unbuckles his name tag and drops it right in the trash bin.
What a flex.
I was going to say.
Incredible flex, and walks away and never wore the name tag ever, not even once. And today, because budgets are different, we just scrawl our name on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Stick it to our chest. That's all.
Bring your own masking tape and
That's
Sharpie.
right. Bring your own, and that's it.
You know, the current vice president is a JD.
That's right.
Yeah.
He has no periods.
That's true.
No periods.
No, it's just JD Vance.
He apologized for killing the Pope. He said,
Aw.
not on me.
He didn't have
Didn't have to do that. He's like, I know I was the last one to meet with him. Oh, man. He seemed in great spirits when I left.
Yeah.
But
He was in failing hell. He said the Pope had a stroke, and he could not recover from the stroke and would put him in a coma.
Yeah.
And that was it. Yeah. So it was like a final, I guess that was it.
You know, he was in poor health,
Of
obviously.
course.
But
Yeah.
he did rally for Easter, as we talked about.
you know, I thought it was interesting. And Chris Kelly and we've seen Conclave.
Yeah.
So we know some of this already.
right. Yeah.
But they actually showed yesterday like the ceiling of the Pope's door.
I saw that too. Yeah.
And
The
because
what?
Like the above where he stays, like
where the body
where
is.
the body is,
Oh.
they showed the ceiling.
And
yeah.
because no one is allowed to go in there except the Vatican medical examiner. It's not like no one from just like Rome or the street, you know,
Right.
from Italy comes in. It's got to be the Vatican medical examiner. And once he goes in, I
Yeah.
guess that's when they announce. And they said he's coming this afternoon. We'll announce later what it was. And that's when they said, okay, it was a stroke.
That's what you and I are going to do. Like BB Shea and Chris Demm do to me. We'll do conclave
Oh,
lines.
perfect.
They'll have no idea. We'll just slip in a conclave line here.
Ceiling of the door.
Resquiat in pacem. That's Latin. You wouldn't even know it.
It's conclave. We just did a conclave. You had no idea. Nailed you.
When When they were sealing the door, I did yell, I know that. I know that.
Conclave. Very few have seen it. We have. We've recently seen that.
You know, I found an answer to a question we asked on the show yesterday, too.
Oh, really?
What happens to the papal ring?
Well, we're going to find out next. That's now there's a good teaser for you.
Does a bad cousin come in and steal it?
John Hamm does.
What happened?
Like most, yeah.
Well, John.
What happened to Grandma's ring? Oh, hell, was Ricky here?
God. Well, we'll find out here next.